Hey, a few disclaimers before the video starts. But when do I not have a few disclaimers, like, realistically? So first of all, excuse the background. I'm filming downstairs because it's currently raining, so that's, sorry if that's loud, and it's very grey outside, so the lighting's pretty shit. So, and the studio light's down here, so I thought I'd come and film down here. So apologies for the background. And also, if you hear any meowing, it's this beast right there. And also, sorry for my appearance. I've had a pretty, like, shitty mental health week, kind of. Like, well, every week for me is a shit mental health week, but specifically this week has been quite bad. So I'm not really wanting to put much effort into my appearance, but yeah, I'm not going to ramble on. Let's just get into the story time of my surgery. So it all started, I'd say, when I was in primary school. I used to be bullied a lot for my appearance, and specifically my ears, and that probably gives away what the surgery was. So I used to get called names like Alf and like an Alf and all sorts because of the size of my ears. They weren't massive, but like people just made it obvious that they stuck out a bit, and so that kind of stuck with me for years. And I kind of, when I got into secondary school, it carried on, and I found out from my older sister that you can get an operation to kind of pin them back, which is called a pinoplasty, which is a surgery I actually had. But I didn't want to go ahead with the surgery but then regret it at a young age, so that's why I didn't go ahead with it straight away, or like to speak about it straight away. When I turned 19, I'd say, that's when I really thought about it, and I really thought, right, I really want to get this done. This will make me feel a lot better in myself. This isn't me saying that surgery is the way to being confident and happy, because it's not, but you know, it's just, that's how I personally saw it. So I went to my GP. I spoke to her about how it was affecting me, how it was affecting my kind of confidence, my self-esteem, and she totally understood, and she's really good. My GP is amazing. Like, I've seen her about so much, and she's literally the most amazing person. But she referred me to a specialist, so I went to the hospital, I'd say like a month or two after that. So I went and saw this doctor, and I'm not gonna lie, he made me feel extremely uncomfortable. I'm very sensitive anyway, I get upset easily, but he just basically said to me, well, why don't you just use your hair to cover your ears? And I was like, well, when I have my hair down, because my hair's quite thin, when I have my hair down, my ears stick through it. And he was like, well, just grow your hair longer. I was like, what? Like, but so luckily my partner was there, so he kind of helped me out. He stuck up for me a little bit, and he basically said, well, she hates her ears, and they affect her mind so much that she just wants to have something done about them. So he eventually kind of, after many tears, might I add, him not being very comforting at all, he decided to refer me to another specialist. So I went and saw this second specialist, and this was actually the surgeon that did my operation, and he was literally so nice. He was so friendly, he was so understanding, he was so clear, and he explained everything in detail, and he was literally so helpful. And I literally felt the happiest I'd felt in a long time, and I felt hopeful, and I was like, okay, this is one feature of myself that's gonna kind of, I'm gonna be able to put my mind at ease a bit, and it's going to be something that I won't have to worry about when I'm out and about, and I'll actually be able to wear my hair up without literally having a panic attack thinking that people are going to look at my ears and think they're disgusting. By the way, this isn't me saying that big ears are disgusting or ears that stick out are disgusting, because they're not. And I wish I could have just looked at myself and said, "Do you know what, Molly, you're unique, you're different, like who cares?" But the reality is I could not look at it like that, and I just couldn't deal with that mentally anymore. So he kind of put together like a pack of information and stuff, and he arranged for me to have the operation, which I was ecstatic about. I was so happy. And I think I went and saw him in the November, and then I got a letter to go and have the operation done in the January, and it got cancelled, and again it got cancelled about 4 times I think, and rearranged. And I went to go in on this one day, which was now in like March, not even March, April, and no, it was March. Yeah, it was March, because it's before the Panic at the Disco concert. Not that it like helps with any information. You're not, like, I'm just going off track. Yeah, it was about February or March. I went in to actually get. It was March. I went in to get the actual operation done, and I was sat there. I had the gown on. I had those socks on to stop your blood from clotting in your legs. I had taken all my jewellery out, and I was sat there. I was ready. I was nervous, but I was ready. And he decided not to turn up that day. And so I got sent home, because the surgeon that was on to replace him didn't feel comfortable doing that operation, and I was distraught. Like, I understand these things happen, but I was so upset because I'd waited for so long for this, and I was like really hyping myself up even though I was nervous, and then I got told to go home. So fast forward to April, I got another letter to confirm another date for my operation. So I went in, and again I got all the gown on, got the socks on and everything, and I went down to the room where like you sit and wait to go down. One second, I think my cat's destroying my house. I went down to the room where you wait to go down to the operation theatre, and I had like the gown on and everything, and I was so bloody nervous. Like, I hadn't been in an operating theatre since I was about 8, and I didn't even have a full-on operation then. I just had some teeth out, and I was so nervous. But anyway, fast forward, I came round. I was really drowsy, and I literally felt no pain, and I went into the recovery, I don't know what it's called, but I was in that room after you get your operation done, and then I got wheeled back to the ward where my boyfriend was waiting, and I just chilled with him until they discharged me. And the nurse went to take the needle out of my arm. I can't remember, is it a catheter? I don't want to pronounce that wrong, I don't want to sound really stupid, but she took it out of my hand, and this is when it got interesting. So normally when I've had catheters in before, they've kind of just very gently kind of just taken them out, but this nurse literally fully ripped it out like that, and it fucking hurt. Like, it hurt, and I was like, surely that's not right. Anyway, I stood up, I was getting ready to go, and I was like, oh, I feel really sick, like I feel so sick. I looked down, and there was blood pouring out of my arm onto the floor, onto my clothes, onto my boyfriend's shoes, and I was like, shit. And I literally felt like I was going to pass out, so I sat down. I literally thought I was going to pass out. I thought I was going to throw up. So the nurse came, and she wasn't the nicest of people, I'm not going to lie, and she was just kind of like, oh, just have some biscuits and some water. I was like, okay. But yeah, I was fine after I had the biscuits, and I went home, and this is what I looked like after the operation. I had this bandage on, and I had to keep it on for 2 weeks, and the pain for the first day was literally non-existent. I pretty much had no pain. Then after that, it just gradually kind of got worse, and it was just really uncomfortable more than anything. Sorry if you can hear my cat playing. Oh my god. It just gradually got worse to the point where I was literally like crying with it. But I just kept thinking it's worth it, this is what I've wanted. And like I said, I think it wasn't necessarily, after a while, I don't think it was necessarily the pain of the actual stitches and everything. I think it was the bandage. I think that's what caused the most discomfort. But I went back to see him after the 2 weeks. I just add this in, the most difficult thing I think was the sleeping, because I usually sleep on my side and I couldn't do that, and that was really difficult. But I went back to see my surgeon after 2 weeks, and he took it off, and honestly the relief when he got the bandage off was amazing. Like, it literally felt like my ears were gonna fall off, like no exaggeration, but it was honestly just the best feeling ever. I'm gonna be honest, when he first showed me like my reflection, like to see my ears the first time, or first of all I looked at my hair and I thought, oh my god, my hair is so greasy, I need to wash it, because I couldn't wash it. But then I looked at my hairs and at first I was like, they don't look that different, like they look a tiny bit different, and I was like, oh yeah, thank you, like kind of thing, like, because I didn't want to be like ungrateful or whatever, and I was a bit kind of like, oh, I don't know if they look that different. But then my mum saw them and she was like, oh my god, Molly, they look so different, they look amazing, and she said the stitching was so neat and everything. And I went home that day and my sisters said, oh my god, Molly, they literally look so different. And I was like, I don't see it. And then I looked at old pictures of myself and compared them to how my ears looked then, and I was like, oh my god, they literally look so different. Like, and I was so happy, like I literally cried so much with happiness. Yeah, I was so happy with the results, and I think it was definitely worth the pain and the discomfort. It was definitely worth it to see the results. And what I want to get out of this video is I'm not saying that plastic surgery is always the answer to everything, because it's definitely not. And I'm not saying that if you don't like your ears to go and get an operation. Like, at the end of the day it's your choice, but I'm not saying to go and get an operation, like that's the only kind of option. Like, I wish, like I said at the beginning, I wish I had just learned to love myself rather than like changing myself, but at the same time I'm so happy I did it, and it's made me a lot happier. So yeah, and the reason I didn't go private is just basically because I just could not afford it, basically. There's a lot of people that probably think I was wasting NHS kind of funds and time, but it was really affecting me and my mental health like a lot, like so much. And so like I cannot explain how happy I was when I eventually got it done. And if you're thinking of getting it done and you're worried, I'd say don't be. It's totally fine. Like, the pain it's there, but it's not completely unbearable, you know what I mean? Like, I did cry a few times, but it wasn't necessarily the pain, it was just a discomfort that kind of aggravated me and made me kind of like, I just want to get this thing off. But I'd say it's definitely worth it, and definitely worth going to see your GP about if you feel that kind of what's the word, kind of unhappy about your ears. Also, just be aware that the cut-off age where they are happy to refer you for that operation is about 19. So I was told I was just on that kind of verge of them kind of being a bit funny about doing it. So if you are getting close to 19 and you want it done, then I'd say go and like speak to your GP now, and don't be put off by some of my experiences with it, because that probably won't happen to you. Like, I think I'm just very unlucky in general. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.